This is a video from a April 2019 ride nearby our houses in SoCal up near the Castaic area. This is Mike and Sean Easton and myself and James Blackwell. And later on in the video we picked up a lone rider on a KTM, so we'll see him come up in a minute. But this is probably a half an hour away from our homes in Simi Valley. It's a really nice accessible area called Rower Flats, and lots of fire roads like this, some smaller ATV trails, and some nice ridge riding up at the top of the ridge here. The guy on the left is the guy we picked up. Here he is. I can't recall his name, but he was a pretty good rider on a KTM. This is Mike's Africa Twin, that red bike. He still had street tires there, and one of his first times out. And ahead of me here is James. Just picked up his new KTM 1090. Really enjoying that. We've got a couple rides since. The ride was just a short day trip along these ridge roads. We stopped for a snack. This is about as technical as it gets on this kind of a ride. We had some interesting downhills and a small ATV trail, but really just kind of a relaxed, fun ride for the day. We were going to stop up at the Rock Inn for lunch, but it was too busy, so we just kept on riding and enjoyed these trails. This is the top of Bouquet Canyon. It's a pretty interesting downhill. James is still in front, Sean out in the lead. I think Mike's behind me. This is an area that is really beautiful. There's some aqueducts and some reservoirs that feed the LA area. There's some trickier trails up on the top of the ridges that are much gnarlier single tracks that we typically don't take the big bikes on. This is more our style with a group of 4 or 5 guys. Little hill climb here. No luggage because we're not camping at all. This is a ravine that got us in trouble a couple times. It was a pretty good hit here. Mike had a fall there in years past. James lost it in that ravine. You could see it was a pretty good hit. I actually should have taken the right line where Mike went there, across those rocks. It's my suspension fully compressed, which is no problem, but if you stall it coming up the other side of that hill, you're going to fall over in the ravine. Little sandy here. It's James again in front. This kind of climbs the hill up to the highway. It's a little sandy here. Kind of fun. Good technical practice standing up the whole way. Some rocks. Momentum's your friend, so you can go quite a bit faster than this, I think, but we don't push it too hard on the big bikes. It's a little sandy under these bushes. Soft edges down in the ravine, but see, it just pops up there on the side of the highway. We climbed, after passing the Rock Inn, we climbed up the other side of the canyon. This is sort of heading back down towards LA again. See all the poppies in bloom, and this is all rutted. This had not been graded because it's early in the year. So it makes a little interesting. You just got to be careful to avoid the ruts as you come into the downhill, and the farther downhill you get, the bigger the ruts get. You'll see here some pretty deep stuff. Really don't want your front wheel getting in that, so kind of take it easy and pick your line through there. Again, momentum is your friend. Beautiful valley view below. A lot of poppies growing. It's Pyramid Lake we can see in the distance a couple times. Here's a good washout example. That's very soft edge, so you just want to keep rolling through here and staying right. You can see the drain pipe had washed out pretty bad. And up ahead there would be Gorman, and up into the high desert area. There's Pyramid Lake off to the right. It's just above Los Angeles and Castaic and Santa Clarita areas. There's been some rock slides, and again the ruts here. You just got to be careful as you come up. You see the washout on the left, so you got to pay attention. If you're not focused, you could easily drive right off that. This was our challenge for the day. This is a typically washed out area. It was pretty bad, and there's a couple of metal rails across with just a few inches on either side of bite on the edge. So pretty sketchy. I think if we were to see that again, we really should have gone back and come down the side of the mountain and the grass. This was very sketchy. That could have easily collapsed on these big 500 or 600 pound bikes.
All right.
Yeah, last year I actually did what James did here. I got my wheel in between the two racks. He just about went through it as well, and my bike landed on its skid plate. But we had good success on this trip with nobody losing it, and you can see there the short. Maybe there's 6 inches on the side of each side of the ravine there. So Sean got through that little area easily there. I got stuck, I just totally miffed it, and took a few of us to pull my bike around that post. And Mike demonstrates how to just go right through. So a little better skill demonstration there. We just go around some of these gates, pretty easy to deal with. This is the old ridge road coming back down towards Castaic. It's the old paved highway, which is now out of use, so there's dirt across it, so you can get going pretty fast on the pavement and come up to a sandy corner. So we don't push it too hard because you just don't know what's around the corner. It's gravel and mud and whatnot. But a nice little trail coming back down the mountain. We're just above the I-5 highway here, so this is one of the last gates. Is Mike coming through on the Africa Twin. So a few still pictures. This is the ATV trail coming down. There's the aqueduct in the upper right there. You can see this is kind of a steep downhill that we had a good time with. And then the gravel roads that serve the aqueduct here, and then some of the power lines. There's the Rock Inn with all the Harleys. Little lunch stop with Pyramid Lake in the background. Here's me going across. Mike looking serious. There's Sean going across. A few water crossings in Rower Flats, and it's a really good time. That ATV trail is really fun coming down. A little bit narrower, a little rockier, a little more fun. And here's the uphill. That's some loose rocks and sand. James had a little issue in that ravine there and had a great ride.